Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're getting into something super relevant for pretty much everyone. That really strong link between getting active and, well, how we feel mentally.
Yeah, it's a fascinating connection, and we've pulled together some, really solid information. We're looking at insights from the Better Health Channel, a study in Frontiers in Psychology, stuff from the Mental Health Foundation, a review in Curious, and findings from UCLA Health, too.
Right. So lots of good sources. And I guess the mission today isn't just to say exercise is good for you. We kind of know that, right?
Exactly. It's more about digging into the why. Why does it work? And importantly, how much do you really need to do? Plus some other interesting details we found.
Okay, cool. So distilling it down, making it practical. Sounds good. Ready to jump in.
Let's do it. So that big question first.
Yeah.
Why does moving our bodies actually, make our heads feel better?
Yeah. Where do we start with that?
Well, the Better Health Channel gives a pretty thorough look. They point out right away that regular activity connects to better mental health overall, and lower rates of mental illness.
Okay, so it's not just that quick mood boost after a run, although that's part of it, I guess. Better focus, feeling more alert.
Definitely part of it, but it can be deeper, like shifting your whole outlook more positively. And a key thing they mention is that inactivity in mental health issues. It's like a two-way street.
How so? You mean being inactive can make things worse, not just be a symptom?
Precisely. Being inactive can contribute to mental health struggles. But the flip side, the good news, is that exercise seems to lower the risk of developing problems in the first place.
And it can help manage existing conditions too, like depression or anxiety.
Yeah, absolutely. Some studies even suggest that for mild to moderate depression, getting active can be just as helpful as, say, medication or therapy.
Wow, okay. That's pretty significant. So what's actually happening inside us? The mechanics of it.
Right, this is where it gets interesting. Better Health Channel talks about changes in brain chemicals.
Mm.
Serotonin, that's a big one for mood regulation.
The feel-good chemical, sort of.
Kinda, yeah. And it affects stress hormones too, helping you cope better. Plus, endorphins, those natural painkiller, mood lifter things.
Okay, so brain chemistry is definitely part of the picture. What else?
Well, sleep. Better sleep quality is huge for mood management, and exercise often helps with that.
Oh yeah, definitely noticed that.
And then there's the psychological side, like feeling more in control, better coping skills, self-esteem.
Ah, that feeling of accomplishment. Like, I actually did that.
Exactly. Even achieving a small goal feels good and boosts how you see yourself. Plus, it's a great distraction from negative thoughts, right? Gets you out of your head.
True. And if you do it with others, you get that social connection too.
Yeah. Social support's another benefit they list. Also, just having more energy generally, and you can be a healthy outlet for frustration.
Okay, makes sense. Like physically working something out.
And one more physical thing they mention, reducing muscle tension, just helping you relax overall.
Gotcha. And you mentioned earlier, this is maybe even more important for people already dealing with mental health stuff because of other health risks.
Yes, that's a really critical point from Better Health. Folks with mental illness often have higher risks for chronic conditions, heart disease, diabetes, things like that. So the physical benefits of exercise, like better cardiovascular health, become vital for their overall well-being too.
Okay, so the why is pretty complex, lots of different mechanisms working together. So the next obvious question is, how much? How much exercise do we need to actually get these mental benefits? Do I need to train for a marathon?
Haha. Thankfully, no. That's the really encouraging news from both Better Health and the Mental Health Foundation. You don't need super strenuous long workouts.
Phew. Okay.
Even low to moderate intensity stuff can make a real difference in how you feel and think.
So what does moderate look like? Like a walk?
Yeah, exactly. Better Health mentions the Australian guidelines. They suggest for maybe 2.5 to 5 hours of moderate activity a week. Think brisk walking, swimming.
Okay, that sounds doable spread out over a week.
Or if you prefer vigorous stuff like jogging or fast cycling, then maybe 1.25 to 2.5 hours.
Right.
Or just mix it up.
Right.
But the absolute key takeaway, and the Mental Health Foundation really echoes this, is that any exercise is better than none. Seriously.
Even like a gentle walk or stretching.
Absolutely. Leisurely walks, stretching, yoga, even active housework counts towards improving your mental state. Find something you actually like doing, something sustainable.
Okay, sustainability is key.
Yeah.
The Mental Health Foundation also mentions the UK guidelines, right? Similar idea.
Yep, very similar. Aim for about 150 minutes moderate or 75 minutes vigorous activity weekly. And they also add the importance of strength-building exercises.
Oh, right. Like weights or body weight stuff.
Yeah, yoga, Pilates, lifting weights, even heavy gardening counts. Aim for at least 2 days a week for those.
Got it. And the big advice is start small, yeah.
Definitely. Start small, build up gradually. Consistency beats intensity, especially at the beginning.
Makes sense. Okay, so we know why it helps and roughly how much is good. Let's dig into the specific impacts a bit more. You mentioned that Frontiers in Psychology study.
Yes, and the Curious Review, too. They give us more detail on how activity affects different aspects, like resilience and behavior.
Okay, resilience,
Yep.
like bouncing back from stress.
Exactly. The Frontier study found physical activity positively affects not just mental health, but also health behavior, like making healthier choices generally, and that psychological resilience.
Interesting. And it's connected. Like activity improves behavior and better behavior boosts mental health.
Yeah, they found those links too.
Yeah.
Healthier behavior positively impacts mental health and resilience. It's like a positive feedback loop you can start with activity.
So being active helps you make other good choices, which makes you feel stronger mentally.
That's the idea. Consistent activity really impacts that ability to cope, your overall well-being, and your behavioral patterns. It's pretty foundational for both physical and mental health.
And the Curious Review supports this.
Strongly. It notes the clear positive effect on mental health and even suggests exercise therapy as a way to combat challenges and maintain mental wellness.
Exercise therapy. That sounds promising.
And it goes beyond just mood. Curious mentions positive effects on self-concept, body image,
How you see yourself.
right, and it improves how that whole stress system in the body works, the HPA axis. Basically, exercise helps keep your stress response system from going into overdrive, which is linked to depression and anxiety.
Wow. Okay, that's a deep biological connection.
Yeah. Well, we touched on sleep, but Curious confirms exercise helps there too, and can even benefit various psychiatric disorders. Better mood, better quality of life.
It seems to cover a lot of ground.
It does. They even mention it might help manage cravings for substances, maybe especially when other therapies aren't easy to get.
Really? That's interesting.
And for psychotic disorders, increased activity might help lessen some symptoms and also treat those related medical issues we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
The range of benefits is pretty broad.
Okay, this is all painting a very convincing picture. Now, you mentioned getting outside. Does where you exercise make a difference? Is exercising outdoors better?
Ah, good question. And yes, according to both Better Health and the Mental Health Foundation, there seems to be an extra kick, a boost, when you take your activity outdoors.
An extra boost? Like what?
Well, studies link outdoor exercise with feeling more vitality, more enthusiasm, pleasure, even higher self-esteem.
So more than just the exercise itself.
It seems so. People report feeling less tense, less depressed, less tired after walking outside compared to maybe inside.
That makes intuitive sense, I suppose. Fresh air, nature.
Exactly. The Mental Health Foundation highlights that just being in nature, even a local park or your garden, can make us feel happier, feel life is more worthwhile, and reduce depression and anxiety symptoms.
And does it help with sticking to it?
Apparently, yes. People who exercise outside are more likely to do it again, do it more often, and for longer stretches. It seems more enjoyable and sustainable for many.
So green space is good space for mental health and motivation. Great tip. Okay, so how do we actually make this a regular thing? Life gets busy, right? Any practical tips from Better Health Channel?
Definitely. It's all about weaving it into your day, making small, achievable changes.
Like what? Give us some easy wins.
Simple stuff. Walk or cycle short distances instead of driving. Hop off the bus or train a stop early. Walk the kids to school. Active chores count to gardening, washing the car, energetic cleaning.
Right, just finding ways to move more and sit less throughout the day.
That's the core message. Move more, sit less every day.
Okay, that feels less daunting than scheduling hour-long gym sessions every day. Now, before someone rushes out and starts a whole new routine, any important precautions? Things to consider first.
Yes, absolutely crucial. Both sources strongly advise talking to your GP, your doctor, or maybe an accredited exercise physiologist before starting,
Yeah.
especially if you have any existing health conditions.
Safety first. Makes sense. What else?
Choose something you actually enjoy, right? And something that fits your current fitness level. Don't force yourself into something you hate. You won't stick with it.
Good point. Enjoyment is key for consistency.
And start slow. Build up gradually intensity, duration, frequency. Mix it up too. Try different things to avoid getting bored.
And maybe actually schedule it. Put it in the calendar.
Great idea. Treat it like an important appointment. And, check in with yourself regularly. Is this working? Do I need to adjust? Be flexible.
What about if you're on certain medications or have specific mental health conditions?
Good point. The Mental Health Foundation notes some medications like beta blockers or lithium might affect how you respond to exercise. So definitely discuss that with your doctor. Same if you have an existing mental health condition, just check for any specific considerations.
And just listen to your body, right? Be kind to yourself if you're having an off day.
Exactly. Work with your body and mood, adjust activity. It's okay if motivation dips sometimes.
Mhm.
Also, specific advice for those with or recovering from eating disorders, talk to your GP before increasing activity significantly.
Right. And what if exercise itself makes someone anxious, like panic attacks?
Yeah, they suggest trying lower impact stuff first, gradually increase intensity. Maybe exercise with someone you trust for reassurance.
Okay, lots of really practical, thoughtful advice there. So, circling back to the types and amounts, UCLA Health had that huge study. What did they find was sort of the sweet spot?
Right, that massive study, 1.2 million adults. They found exercise significantly cut down on poor mental health days,
Yeah.
days with stress, depression, emotional issues.
Okay, so it definitely helps. What was the optimal dose, according to them?
The biggest benefits seem to come from 3 to 5 sessions a week, each about 45 minutes long.
3 to 5 times, 45 minutes. Okay.
Interestingly, though, they also found that doing too much, like over 3 hours a week total or maybe over 90 minutes per session, might actually be linked to worse mental health.
Really? Too much exercise could be bought? How come?
Well, they suggest it could be that underlying issues are driving excessive exercise or maybe just the effects of overtraining exhaustion, negative mood. So there seems to be a kind of Goldilocks zone.
Not too little, not too much. Fascinating. What types of activities showed the biggest benefits in their study?
Team sports came out top, also cycling and general aerobic and gym activities.
Okay, so things that get your heart rate up maybe involve others.
Seems like it. But less intense stuff like household chores, carpentry, even childcare still showed benefits, just not quite as much as the others.
And what about things like yoga or Tai Chi?
Interestingly, yes, those mindfulness-based activities actually showed more mental health benefit than just walking did in their analysis.
Wow, so that mind-body connection is really highlighted there. Okay, one last piece from the Frontiers in Psychology study, this idea of quality of life. How does that fit in?
Yeah, that's an interesting layer. They looked at whether your general satisfaction with life, your health, relationships, environment, psychological state influences how much benefit you get from exercise.
And that does it.
It seems to, yes. They found quality of life plays a moderating role,
Moderating role, meaning.
meaning the strength of the link between activity and positive outcomes like better mental health or resilience can be affected by your overall quality of life.
So if your baseline quality of life is higher, you might get more mental benefit from the same amount of exercise.
That's the implication.
Mm-hmm.
It suggests that while exercise itself is key, working on your overall well-being across different areas of life can actually amplify the positive mental effects of being active. It underscores how interconnected everything is.
Right. It's not just happening in a vacuum. Your overall life context matters. Fostering that general well-being helps the exercise work even better, so to speak.
Exactly. They found higher quality of life positively moderated the link between activity and health behaviors, behavior and resilience, activity and resilience, and even between baseline mental health and resilience. It all ties together.
This has been incredibly insightful, really breaking down that connection between moving our bodies and feeling better mentally. It's clear that regular activity, whatever kind you enjoy, offers huge benefits. Mood, stress, focus, resilience.
And the big takeaway really is that it doesn't have to be extreme. Even small amounts woven into your day can make a real difference. Find something you like, maybe get outdoors, listen to your body.
Absolutely. It's about consistency and finding what works for you. So here's the final thought to leave everyone with. Knowing this deep connection, this interplay between physical and mental, how could adding just a little more movement into your routine potentially unlock some unexpected improvements in how you feel day to day? What's one small, maybe even enjoyable activity you could try this week?
Yeah, something to think about. Every little bit counts.
Definitely. That's it for this deep dive. Until next time.